Hi, I'm Chuck, KK6USY. Welcome to Ham Radio Ventures. Today we're going to take a look at a smart battery. Well, it's more than just a smart battery. It's a smart system. I think that's a better word for it. It's from LiTime. Now, I'd like to thank the good folks over at LiTime for sending me the products for me to review for you guys today. Now, they did send me the products free in return for a review and video. No other money changed hands. They're not telling me what to say. All the opinions are my own, and they're not asking to see my video beforehand. Now, what they sent me was a 100 amp hour called the ComFlex battery. It's a LiFePO₄, and it's got a few twists on it. It's got a couple COM ports on top of the battery that connect multiple batteries together, up to 16 in parallel. They also sent me an MPPT solar controller. They also sent a display for the ComFlex system. Now, this system works really well for giving you the exact amount of power you have left or percentage you have left of the battery. It works really well without having to add anything extra to the battery itself. They also sent me a charger. The charger is for a LiFePO₄ battery, and if you stick around to the end, my only cons are that, and it's very little con for that, actually, tell you the truth. Let's take a look at the battery and talk about it. Okay, this is their LiFePO₄ 12.8 volt 100 amp hour battery. It's called the ComFlex edition. It's a smart Bluetooth, and there are a lot of things different about this battery than most batteries that you've probably ever seen, unless you've seen something like this. So here's your quick start guide and your manual, your product manual. I believe this cable here, as you can see these, they go to here. One of these is to hook from battery to battery. Let's take the caps off of these. Okay, they look very similar, so you're going to have to read which one this is. Okay, and we will do that later. So I'm just going to put that back on there, and we'll look at that in a second. This is some kind of a fitting that looks like you put some wires through, and it may be for this. Okay, then you have your bolts, washers, and your caps to protect it. Let's just take a look at the battery specifications here, what we can. So nominal voltage 12.8, 100 amp hours. 1280 watt hours. Charging voltage 14.4 plus or minus 0.2. Max continuous charge and discharge is 100 amps. Max continuous output power is 1280 watts. This is for a Bluetooth app. I'll set that on my phone later. Looks like you can do Google or Apple. Okay. Basically, I guess you just scan this with your phone and it will take you where you need to be. Now, what is different on this battery is you have a button over here which turns it on. I have to figure exactly what it is. You see the green light. Hopefully you can see that. And then to turn it off, you hold it again. It blinks and it goes red, and then it goes off. Your battery terminals, I'm sure they're 8mm like most. But what's different about this battery is the technology inside to integrate from battery to battery. And this says CAN P RS485, and this one says CAN P to CAM I or a CAM L. I'm not sure which it is. One of these goes to the next battery goes to the next battery, and so on. One goes to the controller that I'll show you later, or the monitoring screen, I should say, which gives you all the information about the battery. All right, now let's take a look at the panel and talk a little bit more about it also. All right, first of all, the monitor comes with a manual. There's the manual. Comes with a mounting bracket that you can mount multiple ways, I think. I haven't really checked it out yet. And it goes to the back of this. You have the cable. This cable on this end will hook to the battery. And the other end, which is right there, will hook to this, the actual monitor. And then you have the screw package and a few wire ties there for mounting it. And putting your wires in a nice orderly way. This part's kind of plasticky. It's got push buttons on it. The outside edge is all metal, so that's made very nicely. Now let's take a look at the solar charge control and talk more about it also. All right, so here's the solar controller. This is the features, upgrade, charge controller. It's in a couple of languages. It just tells about the features. Here's your quick install I believe this is what this is, and it shows you how to do the mounting brackets. Now there's multiple ways to mount this one, and we're going to show you, at least I think there's 2 ways. I'm going to use one way only because it's not going to be hooked to anything that, like in a vehicle that's going to be moving. It's just going to be sitting here on the table. There's your product manual, 30 amp. So it's a 30 amp MPPT solar charge controller, 12 or 24 volt. It has your solar panel hook up here, your battery here, and then you can hook small loads over here. This has a kind of a rubbery, smooth, satiny finish to it. It's different. Okay, so it's got your buttons here, and then it has it shows your what you're actually using here, it looks like, and then you have your gauge on there. On the bottom, as you can see, has a big heat sink down here. This is a temperature control, and so that's a low temperature charge thing. So if it's too low, it won't charge. And that is this piece here. This goes to where you actually install your battery. You got your solar panel screw in here, your battery here, and your load. And then I am not sure what this is for. This is a RS485. It looks like a phone jack. I did look through the book on this a little bit, and I did not see anything stating what that was for. Here's your bolts for mounting everything. Maybe we will just open this real quick, take a look what's in, at least open that one up so we can see better. So it has some heat shrink in there, has some crimp-on fittings here that actually look like they go in here to keep the wires from fraying, so it goes in and you can, go down to it nice and tight. And not, sometimes when you tighten stuff down, the wires kind of go wherever they feel like it, and this will keep them in one area. And these are the different brackets. These are for hard mounting, I believe. So they will attach to this and then screw to whatever you're putting it into. That way, going down the road, it won't fall off. So there's your 30 amp MPPT solar charge controller. And finally, let's take a nice look at the battery charger and talk about it a bit and what it offers. Okay, this is a LiTime 14.6 volt 20 amp LiFePO₄ battery charger. So it's made for LiFePO₄s. Here's the manual for it. This is the power cord, and I'll show you where that goes in a second. And then this is the wires coming out of it to the battery. And then you hook this part to the battery, and then you plug it in. So you can disconnect it, so it doesn't have to be connected all the time, and it's fairly quick. The only thing I would like to see with this is something like this with a couple of jumper cables, like alligator clips, big ones that can go on a battery. So on this side here is where the electric cord goes in. And I don't see anything on this that is made to mount it to anything. All in all, this is a nice system, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on a board. That will simulate putting it in maybe a compartment on your motorhome or trailer or something like that, but we'll actually be able to see what I'm doing. So now let's go take a look at all the parts and how they operate together. Okay, first of all, I know a lot of you sharp-eyed guys are going to notice that I don't have any fuses in line. And I would if I was putting this in something and setting it up. First of all, this is a 1,000 watt pure sine wave inverter. So at the battery, somewhere near the battery here, I would have probably 100 to 125 amp fuse or a circuit breaker. Now for a 30 amp solar controller, I would have probably a 35 to 40. And then if I had and I don't have one here, but for my other appliances, this is a major draw here, but for other appliances that take less, I'd probably have a fuse panel here, and I would calculate how many amps. So if I had 30 amps, well, actually they would have their own fuses, but I'll probably put one in line also. So if my max draw was 30 amps, I'd probably do a 35 or a 40 like I would here. So that's why it's not there. I just don't have them, and this is not going to stay like this. Just going to be a video for now. First of all, let's just start. We have the battery, which is the heart of the whole thing. We have the 100 amp hour battery. Right now I have the battery charger just setting on top of the inverter. I would probably space it out so there would not be touching, and that way give some air room around them, but we're not going to really use it much here anyhow. I've got the wires that came with the inverter going to the battery. These go to another plug that plugs in the thing here if I want to charge it, and then I have to plug it into 110. Now over here we have the solar controller And then up here we have the display up here. It's showing 52% right now, and I'll get a close-up of it later. You can see the battery here is showing 13.1 on this, 13.0. Could be a difference in the small wire going to that versus the big wire going to the battery for this. I have no solar hooked to it right now, so all you see on the solar controller right now is the green light. I'm going to hook solar up, but what I'm going to do first, I'm going to turn the battery off. That's kind of a neat feature. So when I hooked up this, it was nice that I could hook everything up and not get the spark. Okay, so here's my controller, power in. So now I'm going to plug it in, and I believe it's going to turn it on. But we're going to turn the battery on anyhow. There we go. Now the battery is on. So now that the battery is on, this is slowly going to bring itself up. I got to turn this back on because we turned it off. So you just push the button, it comes back on. It's got a nice LiTime there. And now, if you look at, you can't see it, but right now it's saying I'm getting 100 watts in. Now I'm running a 200 watt 24 volt panel. It's a flat panel, flexible, and not optimal sun right now, and it's probably a little too straight up and down to get any better. Okay, now let's take a look at the battery. Now, this port right now is for the display. It can also be used if you're not using it on another battery, it can be made to go from battery to battery with the other part. This one can go from battery to battery also, but it does not do the display. We have all of our negatives coming to this one, all of our positives to this one. Now, what's cool about this system is, as you can see, I have no shunt in the system. The shunt is built in to the display, and all this stuff into the battery. It's actually built into the battery, so we get real time. I'll show you later how it shows real time draw and all that also. Okay, just for size, this is a Group 31 size. The battery actually, I think, if I remember right, is only about from here to here inside. And then I've seen this battery taken apart, and the module inside for the controller of the whole battery is the size of the whole battery inside. Not out to here though. It's pretty big. So it's 100 amp hour, 1280 watt hours. Okay, 14.4 volts is your charging time. We said all that earlier. All right, let's hook something up to it. I've got a heat gun, a small one. Let me show that to you guys. So that's this. I'm going to try and set it up behind so we don't have to listen to it, but I'm going to set that up. We're going to do a little draw, and we're going to use the inverter. Okay, let me get it set up. All right, so this is the display, and as you can see right now, it shows the battery. We've gone up from 52 to 53% already with just the solar, and as you can see, the battery going up and down is showing you that it's charging. It says we're getting 100, we were getting 107 watts in. 13.2 is our battery voltage, according to it. Like I said, this one down here was 13.4. Shows we're getting 7.6 to 8 amps. Now let's flip through let's toggle through here. So it shows 100 amp hour battery. This is the battery number 1. So if you can have up to 16 batteries in series on this system, and it will tell you the information for each one. It won't tell you that until you have more than one though, okay? It'll tell you the one, but it won't say anything else. So it says 53 amp hours remaining in capacity. Now we're system control. Discharge is on, power off, okay? And here we go in this is like a different format here. So 13.2, 8.1 amps. So that's the amperage is pretty close to the other one. 62 degrees. The temperature's a little off, okay? And then we're back to the main one. Now I do believe if we push, let's see what happens if we push this one. This one doesn't do anything. This one doesn't do anything. These, I believe, are for when you have more than one battery in parallel. Okay, let's go through this solar charge controller and just show you what it has. So we're going to go on the up button. Right now we're currently at 13.4 volts. It says 100% charged, but that's not correct. Bringing in 8 amps right now. As you can see, 8 amps. So far, we brought in 8 watt hours. It shows 77 degrees out. The E00 means there are no codes, so everything's working fine. All right, so what we're going to do now is we'll put an electrical load on this. And as you can see, we are around 100 and then 7.6 on the amps. 100 is the watts in. And that's going in, that's a positive number. So what I'm going to do is turn like a heat gun on. It's behind the box or the board here, so it makes a little bit less noise, but you'll still be able to hear it. So let's turn it on. And as you can see now, we have a minus almost 200, 195, 202, and then minus 15.4. So real time, the built-in shunt, or whatever, however it measures it, it gives you real time of what you're putting in or taking out. And right now we're taking out, and if I turn it off, and now we should be putting back. 79 is going to go up a little at a time. It takes a little while to level off. There we go, we're 100 and then 7.6 on the amps. I don't know why it goes in and out. There we go, now we're 100 and 7.6 on the amps. Looks good. So real time, letting you know what's going on with your system. Okay, now what I've done is disconnected the solar, so we're not using that. We may do a test with that later to see if we get more, but we're going to see what this battery charger, which is a 20 amp LiFePO₄ charger from LiTime, 14.6 volts. So let's just see what it actually puts out. Let me plug it in. Actually, let me turn the battery on. The battery's on. Let's see. We will. Oh, let me turn off the inverter. We don't need that on. Got it does a beep though. And let me turn the controller back up here. So we're at 13.3 volts on one and 13.1. Let's plug the charger in now. There we go. And I don't think there is, oh, there it goes. You can hear the fan come on. Hopefully you can hear that. Let me stand a little closer. Okay, so you can hear that, I'm sure. And we're 250 to 258 watts in. And we are at right around 19.5 amps, so pretty close. Okay, now this is the app, and you can see it says 99% right now. We've got 0 and 0 on the current, and the power voltage is 13.7, which is pretty close to the display. The display, I think, because it's such a long wire, that it's not always exactly the same. But I'm going to plug in the charger. We're going to top this off real quick, and we'll see what it shows. So take it a second for it to turn on. It should bring it to 100%. So it says charging there. And we're at, let's see, 18.9 amps, 264 on the watts. And when it finishes charging and goes to 100%, it should turn itself off. You probably can hear it in the background. Okay, it shouldn't take too long. Now I did charge most of this up to like 90% yesterday. Well, about to 80% with the solar, and then we go to 100%. Okay, now it does show down here that it's balancing, and that's what it'll tell you. It's balancing the cells. Okay, it's a balancing act, it says. It'll show you the normal on the cells. There's a normal, and the BMS is normal. Now I did have to, when I first opened this up, it was on multiple batteries. I had to turn it to single battery so it would actually work like this. Otherwise it won't work. When you have multiple batteries, it will tell you each battery, the balance, the cells, and the BMS. Okay? Eventually this goes off. Now let's just put a little quick load on it. You'll see that. It'll tell you all that stuff too. You get 285 watts, 23 amps. And it shows you everything just like the display does. And it quickly goes to 99%, but that's not bad. Just the way it works. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. There's a lot to this system, and I do believe the system is going to grow more. Now, I did get the Ethernet connection. I think I showed you that and didn't really know what it's for. I contacted the person that I'm talking to on this stuff, and I don't think that person actually understood what I was asking. What I believe is the Ethernet probably eventually will work into a system where you can hook it to your computer system in your house, and then probably look at how your batteries are doing from anywhere that your computer works via Wi-Fi, okay? So I think that's what that's for. I'm not totally sure. They didn't confirm that, but why else would you have an Ethernet connection? Now the connection on the solar controller, I do believe that looks like a phone jack, and I do believe that there are either parts that are available that I didn't get, or they will soon be available to where you can hook that into the system also via the one of the batteries. Now, if you guys remember on the thing, it showed 100% and it was only 52 or 53%, something like that. That's because it wasn't tied in, and it wasn't I guess you can actually set that up in the controller, but there's really no reason to with this system if it's all connected together. So I do believe there is another part, or there will be another part, that connects that into the whole system. Now, one of the few cons that I have with this whole system is the battery charger. The lights on the side of it, I showed those to you earlier. There's a couple greens and a red. They don't, either mine don't work or they don't light up bright enough to see. The charger works perfect. It charges, it turns off when it's fully charged. But that's kind of if I'm looking to nitpick, that is one little nitpick that I can go from this whole system. Now they have a really nice website, but the other nitpick I would say is maybe for the ComFlex system, they have a section for that for all the parts that go with it, so it's easy to find the parts. I found myself looking around for things, and it just, there's a squirrel walking up here gathering acorns. Well, anyhow, it just seems to be kind of hard to find things sometimes. Now, when you bring up the battery, it brings up the solar controller and the battery charger, so that stuff's easy to find. It's the parts that go with the ComFlex system that I think could be easier to find. Now, on the Victron, I showed a little blip on this in the video. If you already have purchased Victron stuff, this will work with your Victron products already, and it could be cheaper than buying the full-blown, depending on how much of the Victron stuff you already have. But this battery will interact with this system. It will also interact with other systems, and more to come on that part. Victron is one of the big solar people, probably the most popular for straight-on solar stuff. So that's probably why they picked it first. And a lot of RV people run their stuff. Okay, there will be a discount code in the description below that will give you 10% off the battery that we talked about today, and then 6% off the rest of their store. So make sure you use the code. It'll be down below, and that'll help you get a little bit of money off. I'm not sure if it works because it's on sale right now, so I'm not sure if it works on top of the sale, but it might. You might as well try it. Now, so I hope you did enjoy the video, and if you did, don't forget to like. And if you're new here and you want to see more content like this, make sure you hit the bell, hit all, that way you'll get all my future videos. I'm Chuck, KK6USY. This is Ham Radio Ventures. I appreciate you spending your time with me, and I know this video was long. Sorry about that, but I had a lot of stuff here to go. 73 all, and hope to catch you guys on the airways.